Okay, so this is my video for part 4 of exam 2. To start, this is my scatter plot. My notes are down here. This is my scatter plot. I've tried to stretch it out so that you can see it pretty well. Hopefully you can. There's like went in intervals of these solid lines are like 1 intervals, and then the dotted lines are like per half. So that would be how I did that. Hope you can see it. So with this scatter plot that I made, I would say that there's pretty obviously a positive trend, because if I'm looking at it, it's trending upward to the right, and yeah, it's a pretty loose, like, positive trend, but I would say it's like moderately strong. And then for part B, I would say that based on what I see in the scatter plot, it would be acceptable to compute a correlation coefficient for the data set, because the data consists of 2 variables that, when they're shown on a scatter plot, they exhibit a straight line trend, and in addition to that, like, there's no like outliers or anything that would drastically skew that trend. It pretty much looks like a relatively straight line up like that. And then for part C, I would say that if the correlation coefficient is 0.723, then the association between the data is, I would call it like moderately strong, like pretty strong but not super strong. So I call it moderately strong, because, you know, 0.95 would be really, really strong, and then anything close to 0 wouldn't be strong at all, or would probably give evidence that there isn't much of a correlation. But 0.723 does suggest a pretty good correlation amount. And then for part D, do we have evidence of causation? I said no, because correlation does not always mean causation. We have to consider things like confounding, as well as a possible third variable that could be responsible for the association, or like responsible for the causation, being like, yeah, so there's always a possibility of a third unrelated and unstudied variable that could be coming in that we're not paying attention to, and so you have to do a little more digging in order to establish causation in this case. Just based on the scatter plot and the correlation coefficient, I do not think that there is causation established. So that is all. Thank you.